Hello, I'm Christine and welcome to another class. This one is relating to the Sacral Chakra and it is the second in the chakra series of classes I'm going to share with you. Now, the Sacral Chakra is a little bit higher up than the root, and okay, so it's located let's come up a little bit, 2 fingers below your belly button. So belly's here, so it's about here, and it sits on the lumbar spine. It's connected to discovery of choice, reproduction, the ability to develop relationships, and express your emotional needs and desires. When there's a blockage in that chakra, you might experience lower back pain, fear, lower abdominal issues, reproductive issues, codependency, overwhelming emotions, difficulty expressing emotions, and your needs and creativity. So again, it's a really important area to keep all the energy flowing through. And it's one of those things that it's not quite the same as feeling things in your stomach, but you definitely feel kind of a bit lower, kind of in your gut. So all the things we're going to do today, they will help balance and open the sacral chakra and keep things flowing. So I'm going to put on some music, hopefully, if it works for me today. And we are going to move in. Let's see if we'll connect well. There we go. So today, this class is going to last about an hour or so. And I'm going to take you through things in a slightly different way from last time. So we're going to run through the poses in order. We've got a couple of sequences to break things up a little bit, but they'll be moving up and down. I'll try and keep things in a block, but sometimes it's nice to just mix things up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to start. I'll go back a little bit more, so hopefully you can see in easy pose. So, easy pose, all the way to the top of my mat. This is quite a small space, as you've probably gathered from my previous videos. Cross-legged, you can have one foot in front of the knee, or tucked underneath, it's up to you. We'll have 5 to 10 breaths here. You might like to let the eyes close. And just focus on sending the breath down to the abdominal area. In your own time. From here, we're going to move into cat-cow. So onto all fours. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit, because I feel it might be a bit loud. Okay. So onto all fours. Knees hip width apart. Shoulders stacked over the wrists. I'm going to turn sideways, so hopefully you can see everything a little bit easier. So I'm going to breathe in. Bring your gaze towards your legs, curling in. Imagine that you are an angry cat with the spine curled, midsection all scrunched in. And then we move into cow, where the sit bones shine up. We look out and up, and the midsection of the body just relaxes down. We'll have 10 breaths in your own time. In and out through the nose. And this one particularly massages the abdominal area, gets it all working. Then when you've done your 10 breaths, we're going to tuck the toes under, lift the knees, pressing down through the shoulders, lengthening through the arms. Feel free to adjust your feet into downward facing dog, and we'll have 5 more breaths here. You might like to bend alternate knees. Come back down onto all fours. And we turn round. And we're coming up into mountain pose. Standing up. Just about get all of me in here. Feet a comfortable distance apart. Arms facing forward. Head nice and long. Neck nice and long, head tall. Okay, now from mountain, we're coming into some classical sun salutations. And we're going to have 4 rounds of these. So we're going to start the hands to our heart. Down into mountain. And taking the arms up all the way to the top. And then we're going to hinge the hips and fold forward. Bring the hands to the shins, looking forwards. And we're going to step the left foot forward here. And then come down into a low lunge. Take the arms up for the next step. And down. Next, we're moving into plank. So hands to one side of that front foot. We lift up the back leg and step back with the left and into plank. Now from here, we can either come down through a chaturanga, or you can drop the knees and then lower the upper body. Okay, and then from here we're going to tuck those toes under and back into downward facing dog. And from here, we are coming back into that low lunge. So stepping the left foot forward, dropping the right knee, up the arms. And down. Bringing the hands either side of that front foot, stepping forward with a flat back, looking forwards, and then folding down all the way. And drawing everything in and up, taking the arms up above the head, and then down to your heart. Okay, we're going to do that on the other side, and then repeat once more on each side. So. Once more. For the lunge this time, we're going to step the right foot forward. So step the right foot forward, lower that back knee, stem the arms up. Hands to the floor on the inside of that right foot. Lift the back leg, create some space for the right to go back. Now, I'll show you, again, you can drop the knees and lower down, or you can send the weight forward, keep the elbows close to the ribs, and lower down. And then we're going to come up, tucking the toes under. You can come back through all fours, if you like, back up into downward facing dog. So then we're going to lower the left knee, step the right foot through. And down. Placing the hands either side of the right foot, lifting the left knee, stepping forward into a half forward fold. And relaxing down. Bending the knees, drawing up. Hands together in the sky. Down to your heart. We'll do once more on each side. I'm going to turn sideways. Let's turn this way. Arms down into mountain. Hinging at the hips. Half forward fold. Full forward fold. Fingertips to the floor if you can. Bend the knees if you like. This time, left foot goes back and down. We'll do here. Arms go up. Hands on the inside of that right foot. Lift the back knee into plank. Lowering down. Cobra. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. We're going to lower the left knee. Step the right foot through. Hands inside that right foot. Lift the left knee. Step forward. So you've got maybe one hand either side of your left foot. Hands to your shins. And then fold down. Keeping a little bend in your knees if it's more comfortable. Slowly coming on up. One more time. Hands to your heart. Down into mountain. Fold forward. Hands to the shins. And all the way down. Fingertips to the floor. This time, we're going to step the right leg back and lower the knee. Up into that lunge. Hands on the inside of the left foot. Lift the back knee, create some space for that left foot to go back into plank. Lowering the knees if you want. Elbows close to the ribs. Cobra, tuck the toes under. Coming back into downward facing dog. And we're going to lower the right knee. Step the left foot forward, up into that lunge. Rolling forward, lift the right knee, step forwards. Hands to the shins. And let the arms hang, relax. Drawing everything in and up. Hands got the sides to the top. And together at your heart. Apologies for me having my socks on. It's very cold in this room. I might even take them off. I don't usually practice with socks on. I like to feel the connection to my mat and the ground below me. But never mind. We are going to move into silent pose. And we're going to spend between 5 and 10 breaths here. I'm going to turn sideways for you. So starting on all fours, sending the hips back towards the feet. The toes might be touching. If you prefer a wider frog, then move the knees apart. You can rest your head on your hands on the floor. You can extend the arms away, tuck them in around the knees, or if you're feeling very traditional, hold the heels. And when you're ready, come back up to all fours. Move now into some warrior foot positioning poses. So coming up, putting the hands in, bring yourself gently up to standing. We're coming into triangle to start with. So right foot forward, left foot back. Front knee is tracking the toes, but your knee is above the ankle. It's all stacked here. So if you feel down the leg, You can rest your hand against your knee and you can feel your ankle in line with it. So, and then back foot. Heel is down, toes are turned in a little bit. If the whole 45 degrees angle doesn't work for your body, this is absolutely fine. So, warrior one. No, we're going to triangle, aren't we? So, arms out at warrior two. Now we're going to straighten the front leg. I'm going to offer you the option here of using some blocks. I do like to give these options for you. Option one, place your block on the inside of the ankle, either portrait or landscape. And you can look up, down, anywhere that feels comfortable for your neck and your gaze to rest. Option two, fingertips to the floor. Gently resting the hand against the ankle. We're not pressing into the leg and pushing it out. Option three, hand on the shin. For me, that feels quite unstable. I don't particularly like it myself, but I know some people do. Okay. So we're coming up into warrior two, bending that front knee. Rotating the arms. To warrior one, bringing the shoulders back and down. I'm going to bring the arms back through warrior two and switch the feet. Grab my block. Again, on the other side. Choose where you'd like to rest your hands. And for your gaze to focus. I'm going to come out into warrior two. I'll remove the block so you can see the bend now in that front knee. Okay. Bring the arms round into warrior one. And we're coming into mountain. Let's come into mountain one more time. So feet hip width apart, hands facing forward. Okay, now we are moving into crow. Let's give crow a try. So, I'm going to turn sideways on. You may like, grab a blanket quick. Have a blanket available for your head. So, sometimes you just end up coming down. So we're going to start in garland. And then place the hands to the floor. And then the elbows and the upper arms are pressing into the thighs. Have a little play with where they feel the strongest connection. And then we can just step forward. We're not rocking back and forwards too much. When you feel ready, You might like to take your feet off the floor. Might take a few attempts. As much as I'm going to get off the floor today. Sometimes you end up going all the way forward, so it's nice to have something soft for your head should that happen. Okay, let's now come down to the floor and move through some seated poses before we move back up to standing for a little while. Let's move through camel next. So onto your knees. So high knee pose. Okay, options here. Having a block available between the legs. Placing the fingers. Or maybe even just one hand at a time. Pressing the hips forward. Option 2, both hands with the fingers facing down to the lower back. Down towards the legs. And we're leaning back over the hands. Option 3. Hands to the heels. Looking backwards. Pressing the hips and the upper body forwards. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. Lovely, and then coming up and out. We're going to sit down into staff pose. So I'll move all the way back here, so hopefully you can see a little bit better. Sitting up nice and tall, legs are extended away. Hands are facing towards, with the fingers facing towards the toes. Pressing firmly into the floor by the hips. Now after 4 or 5 breaths here, we're going to move into a forward fold. So, here I have my trusty strap. You may use a scarf or a towel or a belt, whatever you have to hand. I'm going to take my socks off now. Okay, so if you're using a strap, placing it round the soles of your feet, and then you can intensify the bend by bringing the tightness of the strap inwards. If you'd rather not, you can just place your hands at a comfortable point on your legs. Look down towards your legs. We'll have 5 breaths here. And when you've had enough, slowly release the strap or your hold on your feet or your legs and bring yourself gently up to sitting. Okay. Now we're going to move through Sun Salutation B. And we are going to then do a couple more standing poses before we go down onto our back. Okay. So, side salutation B. I'm going to turn sideways. This way again. Hopefully you can see quite well. I'm also going to move these out of the way so I don't trip over and break my neck. So starting with your hands at your heart. You're going to take the arms up. Bring the shoulders back and down. Coming into chair. So you might want to play around with the foot positioning, whatever works for you. I like my feet hip width apart. Maybe a little bit closer, because that's what works for me. So we come back and down into chair. Just as if you're about to sit down. I'm going to come up, folding forwards into that half forward fold. And then relaxing down. Okay. Bending the knees, fingertips to the floor. We're going to step back to plank. Now from here, we're going to lower the knees, or come down all the way through chaturanga if you like. Keeping the elbows close to the ribs. And then up into cobra. Tucking the toes under, back into downward facing dog. Excuse me, let's go face here. Now we're going to extend the right leg, lift the spine to create some space for that foot to come through. Okay, I'm going to come up into a high lunge. Couple of breaths here, back to plank, downward facing dog. Down we come. Up into cobra, back to downward dog. Walking the hands, the feet towards the hands. Half forward fold. Forward fold. Drawing everything in and up. Into chair. Yeah. And then back to standing. We'll do that one more time on the other side. And a face forward this time. Oh. And then we're going to be moving back down to the floor via wide-legged forward folds. So hands to your heart. Arms up into chair pose. In fact, I'll stay facing front. Coming up. Half forward fold here. Relaxing down into full forward fold. Hands to the floor, back to plank. And that's a bit curled over. It's all travelling, this thing does. Okay, so back to plank. Down through the hands and knees if you like. Up into cobra. Downward facing dog. This time we're going to step the left foot forward, up into high lunge. Hands to the floor. Back. It's a three-legged dog. Stepping that foot forward one more time. Up we come. High lunge once more. Hands down, back to plank. Knees down if you like. All the way through. into cobra, back into downward facing dog. And then we're going to walk the hands, the feet, keep doing that, the feet towards the hands, half forward fold, full forward fold, bend the knees, up into chair, and then out to standing. Okay, from here, we're coming into wide-legged forwards fold. We're going to do two. So we're going to do variation A and C. So, excuse me, legs as wide as you feel comfortable with. So we're going to fold forward. We're going to place the hands on the floor. This is where you may like more blocks, because the floor can come to you. And again, you might want to move the feet around and see what works for you. The hands are coming to the floor, or you're bringing the floor up to you, whichever works best. After 4 or 5 breaths there, we're moving into variation C, which means our hands come off the floor. And your hands are resting on your lower back. We're not rounding the shoulders too much. And then after 4 or 5 breaths, when you feel ready, you'll come up. And come back down to the floor, any way that suits you. So, we're coming into butterfly. So soles of the feet together. I'll move back so you can see. You might want to place a block under each knee, just a bit of extra support. If you're not happy with them just hanging out. We'll have a few breaths here. Trying to sit up nice and tall. We've done a lot of compression in the abdominal area. It's also nice to feel the openness and allow the prana to start flowing. The prana being your energy, life force, also known as chi. When you've had enough of that, you're going to come out. Remove the blocks if you're using them. We're going to come into puppy pose. So, from all fours, lower the forearms. I'm going to turn sideways so you can hopefully see it a little bit better. So, this one, it mimics a puppy that's ready to play. And this is also a nice alternative if downward facing dog doesn't appeal to you. This works the same area, but a little less intensely. You could Lift the knees up. Another variation of puppy pose. Walk the hands back in. We're going to come down now onto our back. I'm going to finish off the class on our back here. So, excuse me. I'm going to turn sideways. I'm going to start off with bridge pose. Excuse me, let's tighten this up a little bit. So with the knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. Your feet are far enough away that your hands can't touch them. I'm just going to lift the hips. Engaging the abdominal muscles and the glutes. Being really strong through that sacral area. Again, you can adjust your foot positioning so that you feel nice and stable. Option 1, you can stay here. Option 2, you might like a block to support the body. Option 3, you can use your hands around your hips. 4, placing the fingers beneath your body, extending the index fingers away. Or 5, same as 1 really, hanging out here. And then when you've had enough, slowly lowering the spine, so the hips are the last thing to come down. Okay, now we're going to lift both feet off, that, and hug both knees into the upper body. You might like to hold them around the shins, maybe underneath, or there's a strap on. If that doesn't work for you, can't reach the strap at the moment. Just holding on to a strap on either end, lacing it around the soles of the feet, just to help the shoulders stay back and down if they have a tendency to come forward. Just help you feel the full benefit of this pose if the shoulders are allowed to relax. Okay, and after 5 or so breaths there, we're going to release feet back down. Okay, now we're going to move through shoulder stand, plow, and front wheel pose. These are all potentially challenging poses that can be used with bridge as a base. So if at any point you feel this is unsuitable, come out and come back to a variation that suits you better. Okay. So let's start the shoulder stand. So, starting by extending the legs up to the sky. You can stay here, this is fine. If you don't want to go any further, this is lovely. If you want more, Press the hand into the floor by your hips to help you lift the legs up. Using your hands to support your lower back if you need to. And then maybe take them away if you feel ready. Now, your body might do the next bit naturally for you. Moving into plough, taking the feet over the head, not collapsing onto the head. Again, you might like a block for the feet to rest on if they'll go. And then coming up and out. Oh, I know, plough is quite intense. I can't stay there for very long. Feels quite restrictive on the upper body. But it's always a good one to give it a go. Now, full wheel. This is another intense posture. So again, we start from bridge. And the way I've always been taught, and the way I approach this, in my hands, by my head, with the fingers facing towards the rest of my body. I might have to take my hair out though. And we press up, all the way up. And then slowly come down. Again, that's another very intense one. And I appreciate if it's not all that comfortable. So if you'd rather not do that, it's absolutely fine with me. But if you fancy a bit of a challenge, it's always there for you. Now, as we are set up, let's come into hero pose just briefly before we return back to sitting. I'm going to grab a block or two and place them on the inside of my legs. I'm just going to sit here. Actually, I'll turn sideways so maybe you can see it better. So up into that high kneel, blocks on the inside of the legs, and sit. Okay. And then we're going to remove the blocks after five or so breaths. And we're going to come back down to the floor. Onto your back. Into reclining bound angle. So the same as butterfly sitting. Again, you might like to use blocks under your knees. Just trying to position myself so hopefully you can see what's going on. There's really not much room in this room. Okay, soles of feet together. Blocks under the knees if you like. And then lay down. Make sure that you're comfortable. Whatever you want to do with your arms, so you might like to cactus them, so bend them at the elbows. They could be down by your sides with the palms up, or maybe extended all the way over your heads, or maybe just resting on the abdominal area so you can bring your focus back to that sacral chakra. Okay. When you're ready, then bring the knees back together, remove the blocks. Allow the knees to drop to one side and then extend one leg down the length of the mat. Here, in fact, now I can reach my strap again. You can place the foot in a strap, holding on to it. So you're in reclining hand to big toe pose. However, if you're feeling particularly flexible through the lower body, you might like to try and grab the foot with your hand, like so. This isn't always accessible for me, certainly not standing. This is not something I find easy. But yoga's not always about easy. Sometimes the poses you need the most are the ones you don't want to do. Bring that foot back in. Stack the knees once more. And I'm going to turn around so my head's the other way so I can do the other side without having my back to an awful lot. Okay, so starting off here, and here. Extending that top leg. Again, you can use that, using the strap, if it will cooperate with me today. Same hand as leg extended, just so that you can open out the chest, upper body, get a nice stretch down the lumbar spine, into the obliques. And again, if you want, you can try holding on to the leg or the feet themselves. Bring yourself back, knees stacked, and we're going to move into Shavasana. We're going to have a few minutes here. And I'm going to guide you through a relaxation, focusing on the Sacral Chakra. Get yourself nice and comfortable on your back, or sitting, or on your side. And if you feel inclined, let your eyes close, the body start to relax, and focusing on how the breath feels today. Okay, so I'm going to come down to sitting. You feel free to take any position of relaxation that you feel is appropriate today. Start by allowing the eyelids to drop, either completely closing the eyes or just letting them open tiny, tiny bit. Allow yourself to begin to relax. The next breath in, Completely fill the lungs, breathing in through the nose. And then as you breathe out, also through the nose, imagine covering yourself with a bright orange light, sending the breath down to the abdomen. Focusing on the orange, the colour of the sacral chakra. Might make you feel warm, connected to yourself and things and experiences that bring you pleasure and your enjoyment of life. You might like to imagine that a big, warm, orange blanket is wrapped all the way around you. As you breathe in and out, breath sends the energy to the sacral area, filling your sacral chakra with light, revitalizing it, refreshing, restoring balance in the body. Imagine a feeling of warmth radiating through your body in the sacral area. This will tell you everything in that area is working, it's in balance, everything's flowing as it should. Allow the muscles in the body to start to relax. If you're lying down, allow your shoulders, the backs of the arms, the backs of the legs, and the glutes and the hips all to just let go of their hold. Let go of any tension. And melt that little bit deeper into the mat below you. A few more minutes here. So you can begin to relax a little bit more deeply. Focusing on your breath, how everything feels in your body now compared to how it felt at the beginning of class. And allow your mind to take note of any differences. And when you're ready, you're going to get some gentle movement back into the body. Try wriggling the toes and the fingers. And then if you're laying down, maybe start by moving onto whichever side of the body you prefer. Traditionally, it's always been the right side. But if you prefer to roll to the left, that's your choice to make. We're just going to have a couple more breaths here. Own time, keeping the eyes closed. Returning to a comfortable seated position. You might like to place your hands on your knees, drawing the shoulders back and down. You allow the head to drop. Slowly open the eyes, allowing yourself to adjust to your surroundings. Together at my heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for your energy. And I hope that you've enjoyed this class. I'll be back very soon for another video. Once again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.